A toast to the hunters from your friends at Grainbelt. May the mornings be clear and the fresh air be crisp. May you find solace in the silence. May the stillness settle your soul. May your long shots stay true. May your heart roam free. May you find what you seek in the fields you stalk. May your call to the wild be answered, and at the end of the day, may you share in the thrill of the hunt with your friends. So here's to the 8-pointers and the 12-ouncers. Here's to you and to your thirst for adventure. Bring Grainbelt to the outdoors with our limited edition premium hunting season pack. This season, enter to win a hunting trip for 2 to Brown's Hunting Lodge, wherever you can find premium 12 and 24-pack cans. For more information, visit our website at grainbelt.com/hunting-trip.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. I'm Laura Sherry, your host for today, and I'm excited to have our next guest in studio. We're recording live in studio today. Christina Ringgold, who is the president of Legendary Longtails, an All Women's Pheasants Forever chapter. Christina, welcome to the Minnesota Bound podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Me.
Yes. I'm so excited to have you in studio today. First in studio, so much better. It's personal. We can have a conversation, but you have quite an incredible story on not only the Legendary Longtails and continuing that organization, but also your volunteer services with Pheasants Forever. But before we get into all of that, I am curious, where did your passion for pheasant hunting begin?
I would say it had to be when I was little. My grandpa used to hunt, and it was always the boys' club, no girls kind of thing. And they would go hunting. They go out to Pierre, South Dakota. They come back. He would run banquets. I'd see all this cool stuff, but I never got to go. So my thing was, he ended up passing away from cancer, so I never got to hunt with him. So I've always had this thing where I was like, I'm going to show Grandpa what I can do. Awesome. And so I've just kept building it, and now I'm running a all-ladies chapter.
So who took you out for the first time? Do you remember that? Who taught you how to pheasant hunt? Because I think that's always like somewhat important and also one of the most challenging things for those that want to try upland bird hunting is now there are more places where you can go, including Legendary Longtails, to learn. But back then, it always required either a relative or usually someone that's close within the family to really show you how to hunt.
Yep. So I would say that would be my father and then my Uncle Kenny. But again, their guns were way bigger, so I wasn't fitted correctly. And then as I got older, I started learning about different groups, different women, and then going to like gun shops and stuff and realized that there's a whole new different gun out there that can fit a lady versus a man's gun. And that was a game changer instantly for walking, shooting, you name it.
Isn't that true? And I think even today there is not a misunderstanding, maybe a lack of knowledge out there that how important gun fit is for women. And a lot of times when my interactions with women that want to learn how to even shoot, they assume that they either should just borrow their husband's gun or their husbands a lot of times are just like, here, just use this, where that's probably the wrong choice. And I always say it's like learning how to golf using men's golf clubs. The odds of you being really good at the sport, accurate, are low, and being frustrated are really high.
I agree 100% with that. So we have ladies that will show up, we'll go and do like skeet or, shoot at like Metro Gun Club or so. And they'll show up and they'll bring this huge 12 gauge and then we'll measure it and they can't even, their hand doesn't even hit the trigger. So I'm like, how are you shouldering that? Well, I kind of just hold it. And I was like, so you're holding it from your hip. That's not the way we want to be doing.
Yeah. You're a trick shooter.
And I was like, try this gun, So we'll, a whole bunch of us ladies have numerous guns. I'm not going to say one gun's better than the other, but I do love certain guns. But we'll have them try it, and it's a night and day difference. Just that little bit of maybe it needs to be a shorter barrel for them. Maybe the end's too heavy. Maybe they're not tucking it correct because their arm's not reaching all the way to the trigger. I mean, just those little tweaks, or they're not like leaning forward more. Maybe they're leaning back. There's just all these little things, but 90% of it is, no offense to the men, they don't know what they're giving a girl when they go shooting.
Yes. So. What do you think are some of the most important components when you're looking at fit with shotguns? What's your advice for women?
For women, I would say making sure, it fits into your elbow all the way up to your trigger. So if you can fit that perfectly, then you're going to be fine when you're shouldering it in. The other thing is There's 28-inch barrels. There's 26. What are you going to be hunting more in? Are you going to be out in a field more? Are you going to be in trees more? Is a 12 gauge weight okay versus a 20 gauge? Is a 20 gauge going to be lighter? I shoot a Sweet 16, which is my favorite, so it's kind of right in between. But it's really, if you get the opportunity, either go try the gun somewhere and see what you like. Just don't go buy something because someone told you to or that it's a great gun. See if it fits you, or borrow one from another lady. Try to do something, but just go out and try them first before you do anything.
It's so true. I even have a hard time with the, do I use the 12 or the 20? Sometimes the 20, I feel like I'm just swinging it around too much because it's pretty light, right? And then the 12, a long afternoon, that gets really heavy. So I've not tried a Sweet 16 before. What am I missing?
So that will be my, my break action. And so that one's nice. So I can open it and I can put it on the shoulder. I can tuck it into my arm, and it's kind of right in between it. It's only like about a 5-pound gun that I have.
Interesting.
The 20 gauge, I can usually swing that around all the time, but I use that mostly for grouse. So I'm in the brush. I'm kind of more moving faster. 12 gauge I'll use, especially on like duck hunting, pheasant hunting I'll use, but it'll be on a windy day or like, where I possibly need that little extra longer shot at some point, depending on like what kind of prairie or where we're hunting.
Sure. I always use 12 gauge because I need the extra shot because I'm just not that accurate. It's really where it's at. So, I always need the extra shot when the bird is way out there because I've missed the first one.
Just lead them. Just lead them every time.
I know. And you know what? I never get frustrated. Like when I'm out there, I swear, like my dad and my sister are like, "Are you kidding me? It was right in front of you." And to me, that's half the fun. Like I really, you can't be too hard on yourself. Like if I am not, I feel like I always use the golf analogy, but in order to be like a really, really good golfer, you need to be out there practicing all the time. And I love to get out there and practice as much as I can, but I have a very busy schedule. So it's not like I'm, every single weekend shooting clays. And as much as I love to do that, I wish I had more time. So I have to give myself some grace when I'm out there. And if I miss bird, I do. It's more about the whole environment. You're hanging out, you're having a lot of good laughs with some friends, family, loved ones, you're seeing your dogs work. But that is typically the reason I'm carrying that 12 gauge, is because I need that extra shot just in case.
Oh, I agree. And also the other thing is just making sure you pattern in your gun. So if you pattern it in once in a while, or you put a correct choke in there so you know where you're hunting, you know what your spread is.
Let's talk about that for those that are, don't necessarily know what is patterning.
So patterning is each gun shoots differently. So depending on what kind of shell you're using or, what gauge you're using, there's also the speed on, like when you're buying a thing of shells, you're going to look at your barrel of your gun. You're going to see what fits in your gun. You're going to see what works best. You're also going to see like, okay, is it like a 1550 or is it 1450? Which one's going to be faster? Which one's going to be, lighter? You're looking at a BB versus a 7-shot. BBs are going to be less. They're going to be bigger. 7-shot are going to be tinier and a lot more, pellets in there. And then what we do is we put up a big white piece of paper. I draw a circle on it and we take shots at 20 yards. And you try to put that right in the center and you're going to see every time, are you out of it? Are you under it? So you kind of get to know how your gun's shooting. Especially like if you have an over and under, sometimes your one shot's going to be your higher shot or your lower shot, depending on how you're using your gun. You want to know, if I'm using this one, I know it's going to go longer and it's going to be higher. My second shot's going to be lower and it's going to be closer. So, it's just figuring out your gun.
Yes. And those things are, those little minutia details that really do matter when it comes time to being accurate. And a lot of times, you don't necessarily take the time to do those things when it's really important to do that. And, those that are starting out, I don't think that's really, you just hop into a hunting group or you go to a game farm. Like there's not like, here's your patterning station. This is where you start. They kind of just send you out there. Right. So I think it's really important for, if you are, getting into pheasant hunting or really any upland bird hunting, that you are taking the time to pattern your gun or really get to know your gun. And then it takes time to even really, when you're in the field with all the action happening, understanding if you are using an over under, which way your gun is going to pattern when you pull the trigger. Like that also there's a learning curve there.
Oh yeah.
So, again, that's why I always say, give yourself some grace and really take the time to, do the extra steps.
100%. And I mean, there's so many different groups out there too. I mean, our group, when we do our women's hunt, we try to make sure everyone has a gun that fits them. We try to do whatever. But now you just gave me a great idea. Like, if we have time, bring your gun out. Let's try patterning it for you.
For sure.
Or, we do have stations too that if they want to get there earlier, we'll shoot clays with them. So sometimes we have people that have never shot before. We'll go out and we'll put out 25 clays. They're missing. And all of a sudden I'll look at their stance, look at where they're looking, and pretty soon we just tweak it a little bit. They hit the rest of the 15. Now they're like, okay, now I'm going into a field with pheasants. And I said, you don't need to pull the trigger or squeeze the trigger at any time. Like, if you don't feel comfortable,
don't do
just
it.
shoulder it.
Yep. Shoulder
it every time. I said, you have to get that, coordination back and forth with walking, dogs, gun. Once you build that rapport back, I'm always like, shoulder, just like with the youth when we're in there and you get used to it. So it's just one of those things that automatically happens when you're out in the field.
For sure. And that is such a great piece of advice too, because you don't want to feel pressure to pull the trigger at any point in time. And sometimes you think you might put the pressure on yourself because it's almost like it's your bird. Sometimes it's like volleyball, right? The bird's flushed right in front of you. People kind of automatically assume like it's yours. But at the same time, with all the elements going on, specifically dogs, and where, you want to make sure you're shooting at 11 o'clock or higher for those, you don't ever want to shoot low, those types of things. So for me, I still do the same thing. I would caution against even pulling the trigger. If I'm not 100% sure, I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yep. And so like when we do like our women's hunts that are like the beginners to experts, I would say, we'll put, a beginner, an expert, a beginner, an expert. And then you have your 10 and 2, or you have your 90-degree shots. And those are going to be girls that are more advanced. So we're giving everyone that shot. And if they don't want to take it, then we have, someone to clean it up or try.
Yes.
But like, we don't pressure anyone into it. So it's like, we have girls that come out, just want to walk the field and watch the dogs.
Awesome.
Come on with us. Sure, I'll teach you how to run my dog. It'd be way easier trying to run a dog and shoot. So
exactly. And speaking of, shotgun fit, are there certain brands that and everybody has, there's not one that's better than the other, so we can put that disclaimer out there. But I think it's good to know what brands do offer women's shotguns that you find that are good fits.
So, I mean, I'm not sponsored by them, but I will tell it out there. I love my Frankies. They have a women's line out there, which is great. And I think there's another one. Is it Siren?
I shoot Siren.
Do you?
I love it.
I think they have a women's line. I shot, I think, one of their guns one time.
Well, when we get together, I'll let you shoot my gun because I just would love for you to try it. Yeah.
No, for sure. I don't know a lot of people that have them, so I would love to try another gun. I also shoot a Savage 5.5E. That's my over and under. I love it. It's easy. It
gets the job done.
Yeah, and it fits me perfect. It is a man's gun. It's not categorized to a woman. But the Frankies that I have are all women's guns. And so there's a whole variety of them out there. They have over-unders. They have semi-autos. It's really looking at what your price range is and what you're looking to do. And then from there, you can figure out what you'd like.
For sure. And that was hard for me, too, because I really enjoy sporting clays a lot. So when I was trying to decide what gun to go with, that was a hard decision for me because for sporting clays, you want one that's a little bit heavier. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, well, what about if I want to go pheasant hunting? I'm carrying this lug of a gun around. But, I manage. I lift enough weights to be able to handle it. But
there you go.
I do find myself getting a little tired after a while. I'm like, my arm's killing me. But yeah, Frankie and Siren are two really, really solid companies that make really good products for women, which is so nice to see. I, for a while, was shooting a youth version, which was not working for me at all. And I didn't really realize it until I picked up the Siren and have it fit like a glove immediately. And I wasn't trying to shrug my shoulders to kind of fit into it with what I was doing with the youth gun. And I even had, before that, I had a men's shotgun and I had brought it to a gunsmith, but it still wasn't really fitting correctly. They just couldn't get it right. Mm-hmm. And I was really frustrated with that. So I feel like I've been down the road with, trying to find the gun with the right fit. And it is such a game changer. And, you have to become really instinctual with the fit and how you place it in your shoulder and where you place your cheek on the gun and all those things. And having the right fit is just
oh yeah,
it's everything.
Well, and especially when you buy a gun, like you mentioned, there are gunsmiths out there. I tell people, use them.
Yes.
They are amazing. If you have a question on your gun, if you need it cleaned, you need something changed, you can change the butt of your gun. So if you need extra padding a little bit longer, I mean, most of all of the gun vendors out there, or manufacturers, I should say, have another catalog that have little bits and pieces that you could buy new things to tweak your gun with. So don't think that you buy this gun, you have to keep it as is. Okay, maybe this one needs a little bit longer here. Maybe I don't like, the sights on this one. Change it to you. Put an extra 50 to $100 in it, customize it. You're going to love it. And then clean it, of course. So it stays nice, but
sometimes that's the part where you're like, I'll get to it tomorrow. It's probably not the best thing to do. I find myself doing that. I was like, do I really need to clean that?
But yeah, we just went last year, South Dakota, late season. And I haven't shot my one gun for a while, and I opened it up, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't clean
what happened?"
I'm like, it's dirty. And I was like, or it was bad ammo. I'll just say it was bad ammo.
Exactly.
But it was definitely dirty.
Never blame it on the cleaning skills or anything. Just blame it on the ammo.
Hey, I'm really picky when it comes to my drinking water, and I have the reverse osmosis drinking water system from Connecticut, and I love it. It takes out contaminants in the water, it removes chlorine, and most important, it tastes great, which is the one thing I'm probably most picky on is how does my water taste. So having Connecticut also means that I use less plastic water bottles, which we all know is a definite bonus for our environment. For more information, visit Connecticut.com to find a dealer near you.
Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs began in a small south-central Minnesota town with a mission to make dock install and removal easier by inventing the Roll-A-Dock. Well, now the company has evolved to provide everything you might need to improve your lake time. In addition to the classic Roll-A-Dock or the new Ultra Dock system, Hewitt offers all-terrain staircases, gangways, canopies, and lifts, along with any accessory you might need. Celebrate 50 years of business with us. Go to HewittRad.com to enter for a chance to win a free dock and monthly prizes. Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs. Work hard, play harder. You deserve a Hewitt.
The Minnesota Historical Society. A message for you. Come visit historic Fort Snelling, Minnesota's first national historic landmark, a place where waters, people, and ideas have come together for thousands of years. Hear many stories told by many voices and learn more about how lives and history intersect in ways that are stirring, powerful, complex, and still relevant today. Whether revisiting your favorite parts of history or learning something new, it's waiting for you at Historic Fort Snelling. Learn more at mnhs.org/Fort Snelling.
So let's chit-chat a little bit about Legendary Longtails, which is an all-women's chapter for Pheasants Forever. And I believe you can let us know if it's one of the first all-women's chapters. Like, what is it? Why did you decide to get involved? And what do you guys do?
So we are the all-women's chapter of the state of Minnesota. So you think about Pheasants Forever, there's all these counties and cities, they all have their own little chapter. We are the state of Minnesota. So, and we are getting bigger. So my vision, or our vision, I should say, is I would love to have like a north and south Longtails or northeast, southwest. And then we all meet in the middle. Like we can still be the Longtails here. Then we can just branch off and then we can have our own little chapters and make one, build a sisterhood is kind of what we're doing. South Dakota's now got one. North Dakota's got a women's chapter. I think Iowa might be making one. So it's kind of cool to see them start building. And now I see Pheasants Forever is building, Women on a Wing and just different things like that. But our chapter is basically right here in Minnesota. We got about 100 members, which is awesome, which is youth and women. We are trying to expand and make everything bigger. So our goal is for this next year, we're going to try to do a spring banquet again. We're going to raise money for Habitat. We're going to do a youth event. We're going to do a women's event. And we're going to help out with other chapters that need help. Or if there's a farmer that needs help, we're going to go out and clean up, ditches and different things. We do have Adopt a Highway. We adopted one. So we go out once a year to clean it. Over COVID, we've been a little lacking.
Sure.
So we'll have to get back on that. So it probably needs a really good cleaning soon. But so we try to get back what we can.
That's so cool. And you are the president of Legendary Longtails. And I was told you're a little shy about this, but we're going to chat about it. Is that you were nominated as Volunteer of the Year for Pheasants Forever?
Yep, there goes a red face.
Yeah. That, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
an incredible honor. And thank you for all that you do on behalf of Pheasants Forever. That is incredible. And this is, Legendary Longtails is not your full-time job. This is what you do on the side as a passion hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that entail to win the Volunteer of the Year award with Pheasants Forever? Because there's a lot of Pheasants Forever members. I mean, this is like a big honor, and I know you probably don't want to talk about it, but I think this is the coolest thing that you won this.
It still gives me goosebumps.
It's so cool. I mean, you think about how many members Pheasants Forever has, and here you are starting this women's chapter and total rock star, and you won the award.
Yeah, it's still a shock and awe to me. We just kept trying to build what we could. At the time, we did a banquet through COVID. We did a youth event where we signed up 200 youth, at game fair, and then we pushed another game fair, and then we were volunteering times and helping with other chapters and doing shooting events and just trying to do what we could as a chapter. And I mean, I wouldn't have gotten this award without having the ladies that are behind me right now for our chapter. So thanks to all the chapter members.
Takes a village.
Yep. But it was still a shock and awe when it was awarded, and that our chapter was up for Chapter of the Year, and it changed for me to my name, and I sat there in kind of tears at the banquet, and I was like, what? And I'm very thankful for it and honored, and I want to keep the tradition going and see what else we can do with it. I don't know how I won it, but they must have seen something. I was just being me. So
Of course. Well, the amount of hours that it takes to run a solid organization, and then not only as far as, the details of running an organization, but also the volunteer hours and the events and planning those events and and then the habitat cleanup and helping farmers and all the things that you do place such a big impact on people and their lives and their memories, but also to our environment. So it's incredible, and it's an awesome honor. And what do you think, what is your passion? Where does this passion for not only Pheasants Forever, but the organization and hunting, and where does it come from? What's your why behind doing all of this?
I just love being outside. I love animals, all different kinds. It's just been something I think driven in me since I was little. I always wanted to bring cats home, and I got yelled at for hiding them in the basements, or, finding a mouse, or, just little things, and trying to figure out hey, this isn't working. And then figuring out what I could do different to make it work. Or we did a new thing up at the cabin where I put a bunch of pollination out. I planted some apple trees, did a whole bunch of new seeding, and I'm like, let's bring the bees in. Bees pollinate everything. So pretty soon now everything's blooming beautiful more. The apples are hopefully going to start this next year. But you see the milkweed, you see the butterflies. It's just kind of one of those whole little circles of things. But it's I call it my zen. If I need to go wooska me, I go to the woods. Mm-hmm. So that's where I decompress and feel where I'm supposed to be.
It's a good place to be. It's the secret to mental health is just step outside, no
100%.
matter what you're doing. If you're working with bees, if you're planting milkweed, if you're doing a little hunting, little fishing, just listening to the leaves crunch under your boots when you're walking through the woods, it all works for sure. Let's talk about a little bit of the events that Legendary Longtails offers people, because I know you have an event coming up in November as well, which I'll be there with a camera photographer from Minnesota Bound. We're going to film you guys for an upcoming episode. But what kind of events do you guys offer for women and youth?
So we'll do our meetings. Our chapter meetings, usually we try to do the first Tuesday of every month. Like I said, our chapter is kind of different from other chapters of Pheasants Forever. Thanks, Will, I guess, for letting me do that.
How is it different?
So, everyone does their chapters and it's book. We still have our board members, we still do this, but we make it fun. And I'm not saying no other chapter is fun.
Uh-oh.
But we're just a little bit different. We try to bring the youth in, the women. We try to target that area. Now, anyone can be a member of our chapter, but our chapter is run solely by women. So like our next meeting or our last meeting, for example, we went to Metro Gun Club. We all made a potluck. We went and shot. We had a meeting. We sat around, had a potluck, talked what are our plans for hunting this year? What do we want to do? Let's make a plan. So we'll name it all out, and then we try to delegate into the chapter and see who can help and fundraise stuff, or who can go get sponsors, or who anything that we can get in to help with the youth or the next women's event that we have planned, or even for a habitat project. There'll be emails that we send out that will be like, hey, we're gonna, let's say, example, Mille Lacs County, they need to cut down all these trees and pull all this stuff. They need 20 bodies. Who wants to go volunteer? A whole bunch of us go up, volunteer, rip up some of the dirt, replant it, and hopefully in 5 years we have a new area to go shoot pheasants.
Very cool. And your event coming up on November 18th. So let's talk about that a little bit.
19th.
19th. Sorry, 18th is
19th.
Friday.
Yes.
19th is Saturday.
Yep. So this is our annual legendary Longtails Women's Only Hunt. So it's open to women and youth females. We will do one again with anyone that would like to come. But this one is an annual hunt that we do out at Wings North. We do it there because it's a controlled environment and we can have birds out for everybody. We'll divide into groups from beginners to expert, and you will be mixed up with everyone. There'll be ladies that bring their dogs. There's guides. We'll go over rules. I mean, there's so much to talk about on this one. It's one of my favorite hunts, just to see how many, we had, I think, 25 or 30 the last hunt, and about 10 of them never shot a pheasant in their life.
Oh, wow.
And watching them shoot their first bird was bittersweet. Some people needed help with clays. Some people needed this, does this gun fit me? Nope. I gave up my guns and, gave away. And it's just the girls, it's just a way for and you don't even have to be a chapter member to come. So it's open to all women.
That's cool.
It's just a way to get our chapter and see how we can help other ladies in the future, I guess.
Very cool. And it's Saturday the 19th. And how do people sign up for this event?
So there's two options. You can go to pheasantsforever.com under events, look up legendary longtails, or go to events near you. It will bring it up. You can click on there and you can sign up at the event there. Or you can go to Wings North on Facebook or their website, and they have a link that links to the Pheasants Forever page for you to sign up. It's $150.
Reasonable.
Yep. Includes guide, birds, and lunch for the day.
Very cool. And for those like you have that have never shot a bird before, what is the advice that you're giving them?
Who have never done it before, don't be scared. Take that deep breath before you squeeze the trigger. Let out everything. Because some people hold it in.
Yep.
If you release that, 1, 2, 3, shoot. Follow that bird. Get that bead right in front of them a little bit. 90% of people are shooting behind them.
What if they're going straight away from you?
Well, you have to see if they're rising a little bit or if they're going straight. Usually they try to go up, and 90% of the time they're going to head to a tree line. So if you know where that tree line is, you're going to know that they're going to go up and they're going to be heading this way a little bit. So you're going to pull your gun up just a little bit farther up this way. But I would say get that bead right up underneath them, because as you're lifting your gun up, that shot's going to come right up to them.
That's very good advice. And a lot of times, the idea of, taking a breath, you have more time than what you think you do.
Oh, yes.
That was a really good piece of advice that someone gave me years ago. But because you think, sometimes you can get spooked too if they are flush right by your feet, or you're like, whoa. So that is really good advice to, the count to 3, or that you have a lot more time than what you think you do.
Yep. And the other thing is the dogs that are in the field. They're like our babies.
Yes.
So if you don't think it's a clean shot, don't take it. If you second guess yourself at all, I'll tell them, I said, I don't care if that bird goes away. We'll find a new one.
Yes.
It's just a bird. Watch the dogs work. Trust your dog.
And sometimes dogs will jump up to try to grab a bird. So again, let the bird get in the air.
Yep.
For sure.
That's 100%. That's why I went to pointers this year.
Smart. Yes, we're going to talk about your dogs.
Hi there, Ron Shera here for Star Bank. If you're putting your money into mega banks down the street, who knows where that money's being used? Bank locally. Keep your money local with a community bank that actually cares about you, your family, your business, and your goals. Check out the bank we use at Minnesota Bound. Try Minnesota's own Star Bank. You can find them online at starbank.net. When you call Starbank, you actually hear a real living person answering the phone. Starbank has 10 convenient locations around Minnesota to serve you and all the mobile banking products that you need to manage your money. Check out all that Starbank has to offer at starbank.net.
Remember, FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Did you know that a propane gas furnace lifespan averages 20 years while electric heat pumps only last about 14 years? And propane furnaces work in all temperatures while delivering warm and consistent heat in your home. Why buy 2 heating systems when propane furnace can do it all? Lasts longer, works better, and costs less. These things and more are being done today with propane, the right energy right now.
It's time to plan your fall hunt in North Dakota. Get this, with an estimated 3.4 million breeding ducks, North Dakota's central region is prime habitat for hunting waterfowl. In fact, right now, the state's breeding duck index sits 38% above the long-term average, and the water's up too. The spring water index is up 616% over 2021. That's a good thing. Now, when you consider that North Dakota has approximately 700,000 acres of private land open to public walk-in hunting, guess what? You've got an outdoor oasis. For the latest information about public hunting lands and private land open to sportsmen and women, visit North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Bag your limit this fall in North Dakota. Visit legendarynd.com.
You have 3 dogs, all under the age of 3.
Under 1.
Under 1. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, even more chaos. Talk to me about your dogs.
Okay, so we have German Wirehair Pointers.
They're beautiful.
Yes, thank you. So Evie's my baby girl. She's out of Top Shelf Kennels out of Horace, North Dakota. Then we have Rip, who is 7 months. He's out of Bearded Gun Dogs. And then we have our 10.5-week-old Thor, who is out of Green Bay. He didn't really come from a specific
He's a
kennel.
Packer fan, Thor.
Yeah, yep. So he's got a lot of work to do on the Vikings territory over here. But they went to training out at Autumn Breeze Kennels. We've done a lot of training on our own. So we raise birds too. So we've got pheasants, chuckers, exotic pheasants. So like reds, Lady Amherst, chickens.
Cool.
Anyone need chickens? We got you.
Awesome.
And so it's really nice to be able to put our dogs on birds and be able to train with them out in the field at home and get them going. And I mean, for our dogs being 7 and 8 months old, or 6.5, we took them out for a pheasant opener and they did amazing. It was just
That's incredible.
to watch their natural ability.
Under the age of 1. So why did you make the switch to pointers?
So I love to do women and youth events, and I've always had springers and springer spring. And my older springer, Magnum, he went gun shy. So he's actually with my parents. That's their home dog now.
Sure.
But springers can spring. Now, wire hairs can go too, but usually they will stay on point for you until you release them. But there was just one time where he sprung too high and I didn't feel safe with someone taking a shot. So I called the hunt. And we came back, and I don't yell at anybody. I'll just, hey, the reason why we're coming back, to start in the beginning again is this is the scenario, what happened. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, totally fine. The dog just doesn't need to be shot.
Yeah, very scary. Very scary.
And we always, it's a teaching moment. A lot of people have never hunt behind a dog before. But it's a slower hunt now. So I can get youth out. I can walk up to my dog on point, get that youth situated, flush that bird, let that youth take that time to shoot that bird, and then release my dog to go get it. So that right there was the number one reason why I switched, was just to be able to slow it down and get kids more engaged. And sometimes, the kids don't even want to shoot. They just come out to watch the dogs. There's another girl that comes out that just loves to do photography. And she takes some amazing photos, and I think one of them will be in Pheasants Forever magazine coming up soon.
So cool.
But I mean, that's just kind of one of those things where no dog is better than the other, but I do love my wire hair. So,
I actually have a little bit of a preference hunting behind a pointer. I do feel it's a little bit more of a relaxed situation. You have less yelling going on, like, the dog's way too far out and flushed all the birds. People are screaming, get back here.
Yep.
And then I just feel like a little bit more relaxed. And I don't know what it is, but it is fun to be able to actually get a little closer. It's fun to see the dog on point.
Yep.
And there's like kind of your adrenaline gets going when you see the dog come to a point and you get to kind of stalk up to the bird. And so I feel you there. I think I rather enjoy it. I know people have very strong opinions about all of it, but there's nothing, of course, wrong. We love labs.
Oh, yes. We love ravens.
Yes. Yeah, we love ravens, of course. But I have enjoyed my time hunting behind pointers for sure.
You should come out with us sometime. I know it's not Legendary Longtails, but NAVDA, so National Versatile Hunting Dogs Association in Minnesota. We're part of that also.
Okay.
So there's dogs where we do trials and all that kind of stuff. So our dogs have to run through all that. And just seeing other people's dogs work, and you have your natural ability dogs and your UT one, and like just going up the line, and then you can go get your VC, versatility champion, if you pass all of these things. And it's just kind of an awe to watch how these dogs can work and how great they are.
It is really good. I did a story with is it Ed with Autumn Breeze?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Ed Erickson.
Ed Erickson, yes.
Yep.
I don't know if he's Ed or Eddie, but we did a story on his Bracco Italianos.
Oh, yes.
And I love the Bracco Italiano. I think they're the coolest looking dog. If you don't know what a Bracco Italiano is, it's basically has the coat color and pattern of a German short hair pointer, but it almost looks like a bloodhound with the big ears and the long nose. It's like the combination of the two, in my opinion, but they're adorable.
Yeah, so I went out with Ed. I think it was about a year ago. He needed a gunner. They were going to run a couple dogs, and he brought a Bracco, and he pulled it out, and I was like,
What is that?
We're hunting with a hound dog? Okay. And she got out there, and I looked at him, and I was like, whoa, she can hunt. He's like, yeah, she's got a nose on her. And I was like, I'm impressed.
They're
that
really
dog
cool.
definitely impressed me. But yeah, so it's pretty cool to see them. They're actually getting pretty popular now.
I keep seeing that more and more people are. It's the Italian gentleman's hunting dog or something is what they're referred to. But they were somewhat rare, but they are getting a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
But they're so cute, especially as puppies. I mean, the cutest with the long ears.
Long, wrinkly, chubby, hound-looking pups.
Yes.
Yep. But no, they're
Super.
pretty sweet.
But the versatile hunting dog, that's a whole new kind of genre of hunting dogs that seem to be growing in popularity too, by their ability for pointing, but also flushing, and they will get in the water, where some other pointers, maybe they're not. So they just don't necessarily want to get in the water per se, but.
Yep. So Evie our wire hairs, they're the versatile dogs. So I'll be able to duck hunt with them, goose hunt with them. And then, Evie right now, I can't keep her out of the water. Like if I'm out on the paddleboard, she's swimming out, she's on the paddleboard, she's diving off the paddleboard. If I tell her.
Evie's a wild one. I did meet her at Game Fair.
Like even at Game Fair, the docks were there. And, she wanted to go, and like she'd stand up on her back legs, like, oh, like, let me go in the water. I'm like, no, we're not going to do this. So at the end of Game Fair, I'd let her go off the docks. And I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm like, Evie, here. And she'd look at me, and then she'd dive off again.
Oh, that's so funny. She's
off.
like, not yet.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
everyone
done.
started laughing. I was like, yeah, she's my little girl.
Did she jump off the long jump? Did you have her do that?
No, I didn't, because her recall at the time,
Oh, sure.
I would have had to have everyone that I know that was there probably stand and wait for Evie to come through. Because she would have seen another dog wanting to say hi. She'll probably do it next year. She can jump, definitely jump, and she loves the water. But yeah, she's funny.
It's fascinating how far some of those dogs can jump. So at Game Fair this year, we always get the end results up at the information center where my dad and I hang out. And the longest jump was over 27 feet. And it was a Belgian Malinois Shepherd.
I was so
things.
surprised. Yeah, because I saw that dog. It jumped a few times.
Yes.
And then when I saw that it won, I was like, whoa.
And the young lady that owned that dog specifically, I thought she was super cool. But she has that dog trained in like 5 different sports per se, dog sports, including agility. I don't know how to say this correctly, but basically, is it Scheutzland or whatever it is for bite work?
Ooh, I don't know.
Like police bite work. So the shepherd.
like the canine.
Yes, I'm not sure how to say that, so I'm pronouncing it wrong. And then also scent work, and then the long jumping. I mean, she must spend.
And then wasn't it?
all
I
the
think she
scent
did
training.
like bloodhound or blood tracking or something too. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
This dog was so smart. Anyway, but it's so fun to see the dogs go off the long jump, and
Oh, for sure.
who really has legs to launch off that thing at 27 feet. I'm like, that's pretty far.
And it wasn't even that big of a dog.
No.
I mean, like compared to like some of them that were there with the legs and jumping, you're like,
yeah.
all right.
I know. Well, I appreciate you coming on the Minnesota Bound podcast and for all the work that you do with Pheasants Forever and Legendary Longtails. And, I guess we can close out with this. If there's, what is your wish of the legacy that you leave behind with Pheasants Forever and Legendary Longtails? What is your hope and your outcome of doing all of this work for future generations and all the people that you impact?
I look at my children. So I have 2 boys, and my grandpa laid out land out for me, and he did his part. I'm doing my part. And if we don't keep it going, these kids aren't going to have any outdoors or anything else to do. That's my number one thing, is just making sure we keep this youth in the outdoors.
And keep them engaged and also aware of habitat conservation.
Yep.
And how important that is for sure.
It's not just going out shooting a bird. It's, why are those birds there?
Yes.
What are they eating? So like, not to keep going here, but like at Game Fair, we do a whole informational thing. So it shows like where the birds are, what they like to eat, different things. And like, we always give the kids like seed packets or different things, like, here, plant some of these, and hopefully that they'll remember that someday and be like, hey, I remember doing this one day.
For sure. And are there things that people can do at home that would help habitat conservation for pheasants in general? Are there any tips or tricks that you give out for if they're out in the field, if they have habitat in their backyard, prairie restoration? Is there any?
Yeah, there's tons of prairie restoration. I mean, we have over 100 biologists with Pheasants Forever. So if you ever wanted to know like how your soil is or anything like that, by all means, go on our website, find a biologist in your area. They can come out, test your soil, see what will grow good out there. Because a lot of people will just throw some seed out and nothing grows. And then they're like, oh, nothing grows. It's, well, you might have more of a sandy, soil or, vice versa. So something else will work better out in that area. So a biologist can tell you that. They sell seed on the Pheasants Forever website. So if you wanted to find something like that, you could plant it out there. But people at home, I mean, if you're at home or you're in an apartment, a townhouse, a small house, big house, whatever you want, you could get some milkweed, get some caterpillars, just kind of do your thing at home with a little, or have, like the kids do something, or like the school classes, we go in there and we do milkweed with caterpillars. And Pheasants Forever, we get sponsors that come in. We sponsor classrooms for it for the year. So they raise their butterflies and release them every year. So it's kind of a cool little project that they do.
Very cool. Yes.
But
lots of little ways you can make big impacts on the environment without even thinking about it from,
and pick up trash.
Yeah, there's one. Don't litter would be 2, like take your stuff. Even if you think about ice fishing, and we did a story on how much trash is left on the ice.
So much.
And I'm like, hello, this all goes into the water when obviously the ice melts. So just a simple picking up after yourself is a really good place to start.
Or pick up your shells.
Yes.
Like after shooting, always pick up your shells.
Yes. Also a good point.
So,
well, thank you again for joining us on the Minnesota Bound podcast. Are you personally on social media? Is there a place where people can find you to reach out for information, or just Legendary Longtails Facebook? Where can they find you?
So I have a couple. So I have KR Outdoors. I have Legendary Longtails, our Facebook page, or you can message me directly, Christina Ringgold, on Facebook, and just send me a direct message, and I can get in contact and get you set up with our chapter.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you for all the work that you do impacting youth and our environment and everything else.
Thanks for having me.
It's a treasure. So I appreciate you being here. That's a wrap today for the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. A special thanks to our sponsors, Star Bank, Hewitt Docks, Connecticut, Minnesota Historical Society, Minnesota Propane, North Dakota Tourism, and Grain Belt. And last but not least, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.